been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? It's Tristan and Tony back with another episode of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast. And tonight we have on Luke Truehart. He is the owner of Shallo Water Co. Many of you guys have probably seen them on Instagram or TikTok. They do some cool stuff. And we've just been following each other on TikTok for a while. And I just reached out to Luke and thought it'd be cool to connect with him. And he's a North Carolina born and raised waterfowler and hunter. And Luke, thank you for taking the time to come on tonight, man.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for having me. I'm excited, like I said. So thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was just kind of one of those things where I was just like, man, I need to get this guy on the podcast because I saw. I mean, obviously, I've been seeing your guys' content for a while, but I saw you guys have that shirt now with that. I think you and Water Cowboys did a shirt swap or something.
Yeah. Me and Drew, we talk a few times a week, I'd say, and he had sent me some of his new releases before they went to the Delta show, and he had sent them to me, and I said, man, those two right there are sweet. I need those. Let me know like what I got to do to get them. And he was like, man, you send me some shirts, and I'll send you these. And that's what we did. Drew's a good dude. Like I said, me and him talk a few times a week, and that's kind of how that worked out.
Nice, man. Yeah, I saw that shirt of y'all's where that's the skeleton leaning up against the tree.
Yeah, we just released that shirt about a week ago, and that's hands down my favorite design so far. So I'm excited about that. I've actually got some hoodies coming with that here soon.
Yeah, yeah, dude, it's slick. I like it. Well, I guess before we get too far down the road, Luke, give everyone a little background. You mentioned you're from North Carolina, but how'd you get into the outdoors, and where did that love start?
So, growing up, my dad was a big bass fisherman. He still is.
Okay.
And that was his passion, what he loved to do. And I went, I enjoy fishing, but I always just caught something about hunting and everything caught my eye. And I kind of got into deer hunting first. Got into bow hunting quite a bit and was doing some deer hunting and never really did any duck hunting. I've actually got a younger brother named Brady. Okay. We're 3 years apart, and he never really got into deer hunting. He got into the duck hunting side of things. He grew up with a buddy, and him and his dad were big into duck hunting. And so my brother grew up going with them and stuff, and my brother would always beg me, Luke, come duck hunt. You got to try it. I mean, I don't care. I don't care nothing about going to kill a duck, man. I don't want, and I finally gave in after, probably 2 years of him begging me to go with him. I went a few times and I fell in love with it. And now I fell in love with it, sold all my deer hunts. I don't deer hunt no more. All I do is duck hunt and turkey hunt.
That's funny,
so, like
man.
I said, once I fell in love with it and got into it, I haven't looked back.
Yeah, I know what you mean because that's similar to kind of our story too. Like we were originally from Illinois and just, bow hunters for forever. And then, moved to the South and, got into duck hunting, and it, since then kind of just been super ate up with it. Still deer hunt a good bit, but I totally can understand where you're coming from because it's definitely addicting.
Yeah, I've told myself I'm gonna get back into deer hunting. I need to. I used to enjoy it, and I can't ever bring myself to it. I'm all the time doing something. Come wintertime, I'm always doing something with duck hunting, and I just can't ever find the time to get back out there and go deer hunting anymore.
And when does y'all's season start for duck hunting?
So we have an early season in October that comes in for a few days.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then it comes in for a few days, and then it's not really much to speak on. It's not really that well.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it comes in October for a few days. I don't think it's quite a week, maybe 3 or 4 days it comes in, and then it goes out and then comes back in November, kind of about in schedule of everybody else's season. And we've got the 2 split or 3 splits just like everybody else. But yeah, and that's kind of how, like I said, we have the little October season. We'll shoot some teal and stuff like that, but that's about it.
I gotcha. Do y'all have an early teal season too, or no?
They do in Virginia, and they also do at the coast. So this splits here, it's called east of 95. 95 obviously is the highway that runs in between us and the coast. So anything east of 95, they have an early teal season for. And sometimes I've got some buddies down there. If they've got some ducks hanging around, we'll go down there and hunt. But I haven't been in a few years. Like I said, we went a few years ago and did really well, and it kind of died off a little bit.
I gotcha.
Yeah, like I said, we go sometimes, not too much though.
Yeah. No, I would imagine sometimes in that October, you could get lucky and have some decent teal shoots, like you said. So
yeah, we've definitely had them. They're far and few in between, but we have had them.
Hey Luke, what's going on, man? It's Tony, and I always label North Carolina guys as being very good at keeping their shit secret. I mean, you guys, seriously, it's one of those states that's off the main radar of duck hunting. But you know what? The people that I know closely, and I'm going to know you better too. The people that I know closely, dude, they do a pretty good job of shooting them. Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order. And for an Atlantic flyway state, so I know what you guys are up to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I've got a handful of good buddies that I hunt with, and we keep it close. Yeah. And that's just how we've always been. Because honestly, around here, it's not like out west where, you get a pile of ducks and you go in a certain area and you can do well for yourself. Right. Here, it's far and few in between, and when you find them, you got to jump on it, and because it might not be there tomorrow. Yep. Right. So, and it's like I said, it's far and few in between, but when we do have good ones, they're just, I've been to a lot of places hunting. I mean, it can be just as good. You know what I mean? As far as enjoying it, the numbers may not be the same as, out west or somewhere, but as far as like being out there and enjoying the time with your friends, it's all the same to me.
Now, what kind of environments do y'all hunt out there? Do you hunt like flooded ag fields, or are you hunting kind of like timber type deal, or
marsh?
Yeah, it's a lot. So around my way, it's a lot of swamps, buckbrush, and stuff like that. There's like far as the marshes and stuff, that's going to be at the coast. Which I've got some buddies that live down at the coast that they hunt a lot of like they flood fields down there and marshes and stuff like that. But up around my way, there's no flooded fields or anything like that. It's strictly like swampland, and you've got some lakes and stuff, but mainly the swamps are where it's really at.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, man, that's like my dad was saying, it does seem like it's kind of an overlooked waterfowl state, and definitely one of the better ones, it seems like, or it can be in our flyway, in the Atlantic flyway,
Yeah. Well, yeah. And the other thing that, we've talked about this before, but it's been a while, and that is, there's such a drastic difference with the Atlantic flyway compared to most of the flyways out there, and that is that the majority of the ducks are coming in two waves, like way more. I mean, you could say the same about the Mississippi and the Central, I guess, but it's such a definitive, like, it seems like a lot of those ducks they're going where they're going, and there is no in between. There is no pushes up. There are no pushes down. It's just, you got to get them when they're coming, and
right. Because out west, you hear people talk about, oh, we've got a south wind day, we're going to have some ducks push back up. Yeah. Stuff like that. That doesn't happen around here. Like here, you get that front coming or whatever it is coming, and you need to be hunting them a few days before it hits. And you're not really going to see like a reverse migration, I guess, or, them migrating back up north. You don't really catch that around here. No. You catch it on the front end of it, and you got to get it while it gets good, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we learned firsthand, Tristan, that, and you've talked about it before, but a few years back when we hunted that record temperature lows in Florida, it was record temperatures all up and down the coast, but in Florida we were hunting in low 30s, and it didn't make a damn. What does Kate say? It didn't make a shit.
Yeah,
it didn't make a shit.
Yeah,
it was the same. There was no pushes or anything, but it's definitely different. They definitely respond different.
They definitely do. Like I say, it's different here. It can be a little bit tougher. You kind of just got to learn. Like I said, growing up here and doing it, I've kind of, you kind of learn how they act and stuff like that on, in this flyway. And it's different everywhere. I think that's one of the biggest things I like about waterfowl hunting is everywhere you go, it's different. You kind of got to adapt and overcome.
Yes, I totally agree with you, man. And I've said this several times, and I apologize for repeating it, but Ramsey Russell has always said, I love going and playing that game, and I never looked at it that way until he said that, and it really is, man. I mean, whether you're lining up at a WMA in Arkansas, that's one game, or you're hunting public land in Georgia or North Carolina, that's another game. It's so interesting to me to dive into these cultures and learn how the locals do it, and everybody's got a different method to the success, and it's so fun to learn that in those environments. Like most of the time I've experienced that if you go try to learn coastal environments by yourself, that you're going to end up on a sandbank and for a couple hours.
yeah, you got to watch that tide.
Yep. So, but I think that's why there's a lot of greenhead purists, because they're afraid. That's what it is. They're afraid to come to the coast. And deal with what we deal with.
Why would they? They could stay there and not have to deal with it.
But we have beautiful birds that they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
And I'm you saying that, I'm guilty of that. I've got buddies, like I said earlier, that live at the coast. And one I was talking to the other day, it was telling me, he's like, you got to come. He tells me every season, you got to come down and hunt with us. And they smash the ducks down there at his place. And I just, I get caught in my element, I think is what it is. I get caught in my element and chasing what I have around here.
Yep. And
I'm just like, man, I don't want to leave it. Like I'm so close to getting, or whatever it may be.
Right.
Or I like, if it's good here, if it's good here, it's good there. And I don't want to leave home. It gets tough. But yeah, it's definitely, I definitely am guilty of that. I know I am. I do need to venture out more. Like I said, I've got all over the coast around here, and they've got a bunch of cornfields, and they hunt swamps and stuff down there as well. But they shoot like a lot more, different variety of ducks around there. Like around the house, we shoot a lot of black ducks.
Oh, really?
And a lot of we shoot a lot of black ducks and mallards. And then obviously you got your wood ducks and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like typically, like on a day-to-day hunt, like around where I'm hunting at, you're going to kill mallards and black ducks.
That's so interesting. I never would have. I didn't know you guys shot black ducks like that.
That's about as south as they go, I think.
Yeah, man. If you, like I said, obviously we can't post that stuff on TikTok, but if you look on the Instagram, we've got some pictures up there with some black ducks, and like I said, they're probably one of my favorite birds to shoot if I had to guess.
Let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, I don't want to cut in, you guys, but I mean, Tristan, we've really never dug into black ducks with folks. Mm-hmm. And I think it's cool that if you're in South Carolina or you're within driving distance, to be able to say, I mean, I know like Tristan and I, it's a big deal to us. We are definitely a species hunter. Right. That's just, we love to target that stuff, and we would go on a hunt for 4 days to get one species of duck. Mm-hmm. And that would be a trophy to us versus shooting limits every day, and right. I think there's a lot of us like that out there. But what's it like? I've heard in other environments, especially north of y'all, what it's like to hunt black ducks. What's that like for a South Carolina folk? I mean, what are you looking at? Are you looking at, what's a group size like? Like I've heard north of you guys, like it's really like pairs and small groups, and it's tide restricted and stuff like that. Like, what's it like for y'all?
It's so like around here, it's really it's like part of the season. Sometimes they're very weary duck. Okay. I've learned. Sometimes they'll kind of mix themselves in with the mallards, and then some parts it's sometimes I don't know if it's some part of the seasons, or if it's some like the areas you go to, like different areas around the house I hunt, and like I said, the mallards and black ducks will be mixed in with each other. And then there's certain areas I'll go and hunt, and the mallards and black ducks, I've been to some areas that if the only thing I could figure out why them ducks would not come in is we had mallard decoys in there, and that they did not want to be with the mallards.
Huh.
And when you see them sitting in there scouting, the mallards and black ducks are on one separate end of the swamp or whatever you're hunting, and they just don't. They don't get together. But then, like I said, there's been some areas where you go there and they're all together. They're flying together. They're all mixed in together. They're, I don't know. To me, they're a weird duck. They're very weary. But I mean, I don't know. I love them.
Are they there year round, Luke, or do they kind of migrate up a little bit further north and then?
Yeah, we definitely have a resident population of them.
Okay.
We definitely do.
Oh, wow. Nice.
But they do migrate, because there's times we definitely have our resident birds. Mm-hmm. And then obviously there's times, when the weather and stuff is right, we'll get a push, and you can definitely tell that we get a push of black ducks.
Huh. Yeah, no, it's really interesting because, it's not, I think the black duck's obviously more, on people's radar, something they want to get, but it's just the model duck for us in Florida and South Georgia has always been really interesting to us because it's just one of those things that you have to be in certain environments to get. Similar to you guys with the black duck.
Yeah, I hunt, for instance, last year we hunted a swamp, and I've shot mallards in this swamp, and I've shot black ducks but this hunt and this time of year, there was nothing but black ducks in there. I mean, we went in there that morning and I think shot a four man of black ducks and never seen the first mallard. It's just, sometimes it's like that. And then I went in that same swamp, a few weeks later and shoot mallards in it. I don't know why it's like that. Like I said, sometimes I see them, they'll separate themselves from each other, and sometimes they're flying together. I don't know if it's different areas.
It's Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah, I don't know. It may be. Who knows? Part of me.
Listen up, guys. Waterfowl season will be here before you know it. So book a hunt today. Williamson Outfitters offers exceptional duck hunting along Florida's Forgotten Coast, targeting redheads, bluebills, buffleheads, canvasbacks, and much, much more. Lodging and fishing packages are also available. Mention the One Hell of a Life podcast when booking and get 15% off your next trip. Spots are filling up fast, so call or text Captain Chris at 850-251-8650 or visit floridaducks.com.
He thinks maybe it's the resident ones are the ones that kind of tend to themselves.
That would kind of make sense.
Typically, when we get the pushes, is when you start to see them with each other, mixed in with each other. So maybe I just solved it right there. Maybe that's what it is.
Right on.
That would make sense. Just those local ducks being around the environment.
Because the local ones are always the ones. Obviously, any type of local bird, they know the area. They're going to be the weary ones.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, what about, I'm always asking people this as we creep up the coast, and actually not just the coast, but creep from south to north. What about whistling ducks? Have you guys seen any ducks around, whistling ducks, black belly whistlers around there?
I have not. We have not. I think they're further south than us.
Well, they're coming because we got friends of ours last summer in Arkansas. They're like, dude, I work at this grain company and there's 30, 40 ducks out here right now just eating off the grain piles in the middle of the summer.
Right.
In Arkansas, northeast Arkansas.
Yeah, they're a weird duck.
They are, and that's one duck I want to shoot. I've never had the chance. But yeah, no, I've never seen any up here.
Nice. Okay. Right on.
Yeah, they're weird, man, because you'll go my wife's mom lives in Orlando, and you'll be just cruising around Orlando, and just in residential ponds, there's just a whole bunch of black belly whistling ducks sitting there, and they got a lot. There's a lot of them in Florida.
Yeah, they
that's
feed,
what I've heard.
They feed at night, and usually your chance at them is when they're going to their roost at first light. They're definitely, if you're down in Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, anywhere down south in the coast, you're definitely during early teal season, you're just dealing with a bunch of whistlers flying above you, and you're going, FML, I can't shoot these ducks, because they are legit. If they're not gun weary, which they will in the South, they'll get super gun weary. They fly like a goose in pattern, in like a V, and they're literally, I always say it's like for a youth hunt, it's probably the best duck that you can take somebody out to hunt, because they're slow, they're kind of dumb, and as long as they haven't been sky blasted by a bunch of people, they tend to, fly relatively low, but you're shooting passing shots at a duck that's literally flying as slow as a duck can fly.
Yeah.
So, but no, they're a cool duck, and I've gotten lucky enough to get one, but there's definitely the Fulvius whistler. It's still on my list, but man, if we got to start talking, you need a whistler and we need a black duck, we might have to make something happen.
That's right.
Well, Luke, let's get a little backstory, man, on Shallo Water Co. How did that come about? And I love y'all's content. I'm a big fan of just, I don't know if you do editing or things like that, but I do all of our editing and stuff. So I love and appreciate, other people that do a great job with their content, and you guys definitely do.
Yeah. So I do all the editing. I typically, I'm the one I do all the filming and editing and stuff.
Awesome.
But yeah, but far as the business, it's funny how it happens. So like I said, I've got my tight group of buddies that we hunt with.
Mm-hmm.
And just one day I was like, man, we're wearing all these other brands and stuff. Like, it'd be cool to have our own.
Right.
Wear something that like we're proud of and that's like ours.
Hell yeah.
And so I went to the local printer, had some simple little designs worked up, and made 5 hats and 5 t-shirts for me and the guys. And then people see us wearing, other buddies see us wearing them, and then their buddies see us wearing them, and man, I want one of those. And went back for the next order and ordered 15 hats and shirts. And it kind of just a snowball effect. Like I said, I started it back in 2019.
Okay.
And I never took it serious. Like I said, it was just like at the beginning of it, it was just like give me and the guys something to wear of ours. It was more of like a joke, kind of like just give us something to wear that we wanted to wear.
Sure.
And man, it kept turning into, oh, I got a friend that wants some, or a guy at work seeing it wants to wear it, or this, that, and the other. And next thing, like I said, I never took it serious for probably 2 years. And in 2021, I told myself I finished college. That's when I got into it. So no, that's wrong. But so I got into it and got, started working my job after college, and then we started it, and then everything happened. And like I said, we took it as a joke, just messing around. And I think it was like 2021, I kind of realized like I may have something here. Like people like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to like a graphics person that had some nice designs made, and kind of upped the order a little bit, and had a little website made, and it started just taking off. And I was like, man, this if this is something that I can do and allow me to enjoy and do something that I enjoy to do for a living,
yeah,
like, why not? Like it's right here in front of me, and I can see that the people like it.
Yeah.
And I told myself, I think it was in 2021, I told myself, I said, I'm going to put everything I got into it.
Wow.
And we're going to see what happens. And that's what I did. And I haven't looked back since. And man, we, this year we built our own website. We started that. We built our own website. And then obviously TikTok started taking off once I got really big into the filming stuff.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, because when I first started it, I didn't even have a camera. I didn't even have none of that stuff. And then I picked up a camera. I was always the person that had like the GoPro, or I was always the person that took a picture. I always made sure to take a picture.
Right.
I don't know. I've always just been the person to like to have something to look back on.
Sure.
And So I bought me I think it was a Sony camera. It was like a A6500 I bought.
Mm-hmm.
And started, filming us wearing the stuff and putting that out there. And then that's when it's like really started like, okay, yeah, they like this. They want to see this stuff. And so then I saved up, bought a nicer camera, and just continued on with it. And it just, like I said, it just grew from there. Once I picked up the camera, I feel like that opened up a lot more, like a whole nother avenue for me in the industry.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's just something like people all the time tell me I have an eye for it. I feel like I don't. I feel like I'm just out there winging it. And but people all the time are like, I love your videos you're putting out. I'm like, man, I see all these other guys' videos, and I'm like, man, I think their stuff's cool, And but yeah, man, I just, like I said, started it in 2019 and just never took it serious until about 2021. And then once I did, I told myself, I'm gonna put everything I got into it and see what happens. And here we are now.
Well, I think you definitely have an eye for it. And I think one of the things that's unique about just I feel like you have a really good knack for, like, when you create the post, like whatever the words are on the screen, whatever kind of like message you're trying to get out, I feel like that's kind of your niche. You do really good with like I just noticed that's a theme with your posts. It'll say something
right.
like, your dog's your best friend or something like that. And, it'll be like this badass video of a dog or, stuff like that. And I think just having an eye and like the creative like side to think of stuff like that, I think is definitely got to be what people are talking about,
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely helped the brand 100%. TikTok, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Our TikTok following, I mean, it grew very quickly.
That's awesome, man.
And like I said, and I just kept saving up, buying new cameras. And
it's in the teens that morning, and maybe you're chasing ducks or geese. But now it's September and it's 85 degrees and you're hunting early teal or geese. As a waterfowler, you need dependable weather protection that will not break the bank. Founded in 1996, Frog Togs is not only the leader in breathable wader technology, but a company you can depend on to keep you warm and dry, head to toe, no matter your hunting environment. Stay bone dry by using discount code ZD315 for 15% off not only your first purchase, like most discount codes, but how about every single purchase you make from now until December 31st, 2024?
Getting, doing more stuff with it. And now I take a camera with me everywhere I go. Like I said, like last weekend, I had all these products coming in, and I never thought I would be like, hey guys, I need to do a photo shoot. Never thought I would be saying that, but here we are.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's great. I love it. Like I said, I couldn't be more blessed. So,
man, and I think, something that you said earlier was like, you never really took it serious. And I think that's got to be just outside looking in and not really knowing you outside of just, following you on TikTok. Like, that's got to be one of the reasons you guys have been successful, is because you're coming at it from just like a truly like, humble standpoint, I think.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it was all at the beginning. It was always just something like for me and the guys to wear. Like,
mm-hmm.
we're going to go hunting and we're going to be outdoors, whether this brand's something or not, so that's how I've always looked at it. It's like, I'm always going to be outdoors doing something outdoors, because that's what I truly love. So if this is something that I can do and like share a message to the people and get to, it get to be the living I get to do, and why not?
Hell yeah. Now, do you guys have anything? Is there anything you're looking forward to, whether it be from a, planned hunt standpoint or like any? I know you got that new shirt. It just came out. Is there any new products? Like, fill us in on any of the new Shallo Waterco plans, if you don't mind, going into some of that.
Oh yeah, no, we can talk about all that. So, far as Shallo Waterco and products and stuff we have coming. So like I said, we just released this shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down one of my favorite ones we've done so far. And I've got another design that's kind of sitting on the back burner right now. Waiting to do some shirts and stuff with it. But yeah, so in the works, like right now, we've got 2 new hoodies coming that should be here by the end of August. We've got 4 or 5 new hat designs, kind of our duck season line of hats. All my hats I have right now are more of like a summertime hat.
Mm-hmm.
They're more of like a lightweight material, kind of, breathable.
Yeah.
For those hot days during summer. But we've got in the work, they're being made right now. And they'll be here in a few weeks for, like, I guess what you would call our duck season line of hats. Like, we've got some wax canvas hats coming. Kind of stuff that's a little bit more fitting to wear while duck hunting.
Sure.
So
yeah, I love those.
We've got that coming.
Not to cut you off. I definitely want to keep hearing more, but I loved those. I just saw a few videos of those tree stand hats you guys did. The mossy oak tree stand. Those looked really good.
Man, I cannot keep them things in stock.
That's a good problem to have.
I order them, have them made, I put them on, and in 2 days they're gone. And that is one hat I have being made more of right now. And I did switch the patch up a little bit this time, which I hope the people like, and I hope it continues to sell the same way. Mm-hmm. And I think the people will like the patch I went with. It's a newer patch that we designed. It's got my newer logo with the feeding duck on it. But yeah, like I said, it's still pretty much like same style of patch, I guess you could say. It's got the shallow water on it with the duck in the middle. It's a little bit a different text on the writing and stuff, but I think the people are going to like it. I hope they do, and I hope it continues to sell the same way it has been. So
yeah,
but yeah, like I said, we've got that hat, and then outside of that hat, we've got probably one of my favorite. If I had one of my favorite, how people all the time these brands they'll do, they'll do like a stitched style hat with a duck on it, whether it be a pintail or a mallard. You see a lot of the mallards.
Yeah.
One I've never seen would be a black duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never, I have not seen a brand do that. I was like, man, it's kind of fitting for us because that's what I love to hunt. That's what we do hunt. That's what we kill a lot of. I was like, man, so I'm going to do one of those. And we've got a rope hat coming, and it's a black rope hat. It's got like a camo brim, one of the camo patterns. We've done kind of the timber, like darker camo pattern. It's like an old school style pattern we done on the brim, and it's got the black duck embroidered on it. And I really hope that the people like that one as much as I do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think that's super neat.
Yeah, like I said, we've got all those things coming, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah, that's great. Do you guys, as far as, hunts this season, are you just going to stick around North Carolina, or is there anything that you guys are, got kind of that you got?
No, we're definitely going to do some traveling. I'm going to Canada in September.
Wow, that ought to be an experience.
I've never been to Canada. Got a good buddy. His name's Doyle Weaver. He lives up in Virginia, and they own an outfitter, Wild Valley Outfitters, up in Canada. And he invited me up to kind of come and film some hunts with him and kind of get the Canada experience with them guys. So, as any duck hunter would, I feel like I took the opportunity. And so going up there in September, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. Like I said, I've never been to Canada. You hear everybody talk about it. So I'm excited to go spend a few days with those boys and kind of get the whole experience of that.
Yeah, dude, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, and get to start your duck season that early.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like I said, I always do the Arkansas opener. I've got some buddies there that past few years I go and hunt with them on every opener. And so I'm planning to go there. I plan to be there for the opener of Arkansas. And then after those are the 2 planned trips I have. And then after that, I'm going to kind of just watch the weather and, see something moving in out west that you can tell is going to be good, kind of pack the stuff up and go.
Yeah, it makes sense. Are you doing the shallow water thing full time, or you still got a day job?
So I'm not doing it full time yet. I still have a day job that I work with. I work in asphalt, doing resurfacing and stuff like that. But I'm blessed to have that job. The guys that I work with, I'm definitely blessed to have that job. It kind of goes hand in hand with my business because come wintertime, you can't really do much with asphalt during the wintertime.
Right.
So I've got I've got a very good boss that's very understanding of my passion for duck hunting. And come wintertime, me and him, I'm very lucky to have him as a boss to kind of give me that leniency to kind of go and hunt and do the things I want to do. Kind of, let him know. Sometimes I got to let him know a little last minute. I feel bad doing it, but.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that, because I was like, man, he's got to have if you weren't, if Shallo Water wasn't your full-time thing, you got to have a lenient job like that. But I'd imagine in the summer, man, I bet you're busting your butt, huh?
Oh yeah, during the summer, like right now, we're running. I think we've got like that I've been around and kind of put my boots on. Probably 2 or 3 different jobs right now. And yeah, so I kind of just bust my butt during the summer and do everything they asked me to do during the summertime.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like obviously the end goal and the plan is to go full time with shallow water. I'm just riding it out long as I can. Like I said, I'm blessed to have the job that I do and the leniency they give me. And so as long, and once it gets to the point where it's like I can't offer, my 110% at this other job because of shallow water, then I'll probably take a step back. So
yeah, no, it makes sense, man. Yeah, that's a good situation for you to be able to keep building and doing what you're doing. And I think you guys are definitely on the path to doing that.
I said I'm excited for it, and like I said, that at the end of the day, that's my end goal. Just kind of playing it out and seeing where it goes.
I wanted to circle back to something that we started originally off with, and you were talking about getting really addicted as a duck hunter. And I don't know that we talk about this very often, but it just kind of occurred to me, that, dude, when you get the hook with duck hunting, it's kind of stupid. Like, honestly, like, it causes divorces. It causes debt. And I've always said, if you were to write a business plan for a duck hunter, nobody would ever invest any money because you're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
You're going to lose money. And it's crazy how it will take the most penny pincher in the world and turn them into an overspender in a heartbeat. Yeah. I mean,
it very quickly.
It does. And I can't figure out to me, I think it really comes down to 2 main things, because, I've been hunting a long time and just hunting deer for all my life. And I've hunted everything from groundhogs to birds I wasn't supposed to shoot in the backyard to you name it. I've hunted it all, and the thing is that I think the 2 main things that really connect us so deeply with waterfowl is, number one, the challenge. It's a challenge and it's different wherever you go. Like with deer hunting, you hunt a deer trail wherever you go. Okay. You hunt a food source wherever you go. Now, yeah, we kind of do the same thing with ducks, but there's no pattern. There's no pattern. I mean, you can establish some pattern if it's not overhunted, but not like with deer. It's not the same. And so you have that high reward, and that's where we came up with the whole one hell of a life, is that it'll kill you, but it'll make you feel like you're on higher cotton, at the same time, and everybody's got that story, but still to date, one of the best hunts that Tristan and I ever had were when everything went wrong and we shot just a couple blue-winged teal, and it's just amazing how that happens. And the second piece to it is the communal part, is the ability to be able to sit there with your friends. And I'm going to add a third thing, actually, now that I'm thinking about this. Sit there with your friends and cut it up. You don't have to be quiet necessarily, and, so you can have that communal side of it versus, say, deer hunt. The third part of it is the deepness and connection in network. I I've been around the deer hunting community a long time. My mom's a world famous bow hunter. I've been deep in that industry for all my life. And yes, while it is a tight community, if deer hunting was if you had a circle and it got tighter as you went from 10 to 1 or 10 to 1 out like a target, I would feel like duck hunting's like at a 10 and deer hunting's at a 5 when it comes to the tight-knit community of good people. It's amazing. It really is. And I know you've experienced that, just like you talked about. You're going to Canada. How did that happen? Through a friendship.
Yep.
And not just some BS, but a true friendship.
Yeah. That is one thing about the waterfowl industry. I feel like everyone I've met, even if it's just one time, I feel like you made a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
You might not see that person until next duck season, but you talk to them on the off season. You check in, hey, how are you doing? How's things going? And like I said, it just all comes back to the friendships you make and the memories you make doing it. It's like I said, I've never had a bad experience with anybody in this industry. Like everyone to me has always been, open to conversation, open to, sharing tips, like what works for them, what works, kind of deal like that. And I don't know, I think that may be one of the things that I like about it. I don't know. I think that is a great thing about the industry though.
Yeah. I think, while like there's bad apples with everything.
Yeah.
But I think
100%.
But I think everybody that you that's out doing the shows and out talking to you on social media and things like that are usually, the people that want to build that good network. I agree with you though. I think as a whole, it's just very communal. Just by nature.
It just is. And I've definitely enjoyed those three pieces of it, and moving forward. And honestly, at the end of the day, it really is those, I guess you create an environment by duck hunting with people where, like, when you deer hunt at public land deer camp, right? Everybody goes and they hunt their spots, and you come back. If you're camping somewhere where everybody's hunting at or something like that, you make some friendships at deer camp, right? You do that. But with duck hunting, you might be in a blind.
In the outdoors, every detail counts. See sharper, aim clearer. From the river's edge to the heart of the flooded timber, Hook and Bullet has your vision covered. Hook and Bullet's purpose-built optics are flawlessly crafted to give you an edge regardless of your outdoor pursuit. Use code ZeroDuck30 for 15% off a pair of Hook and Bullet sunglasses today.
And like Tristan and I, for example, we might be in a blind at Delta Thunder and hunting with 4 other people that are paying customers for Kade, and we can create a relationship with them in one hunt that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It just, and I'm not saying this to brag, but, like when we met Kade, we didn't know shit from Shinola. I mean, we really didn't. And, within, less than 2 years, we're like such close friends that he invites us to be in his wedding, Yeah.
And just like a little bit of backstory, Luke. So our buddy Kade, it sounds like a similar situation to your buddy up in Canada. We went out to the Arkansas, for the first time to hunt public land, and to break the week up, we had a booked guided hunt because we're like, man, we're gonna get our butt kicked on public land probably, so we better just have a day to sleep in a little bit, But long story short, we ended up
or not stay up all night.
right. You know how it is. You got to be at the boat ramp at 2:00, and you're putting in at 4, or you got to take off at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Met Kade through that experience. This operations Delta Thunder Outfitters there in Northeast Arkansas. And it's, since have become great friends with him, and similar to, sounds similar to your story with the guy up in, you're hunting with up in Canada.
Yeah. Like I said, it's always good to, make those new friendships. And 'Cause you never know what that one person, if you don't talk to them, you never know what door that could have opened for the both of y'all, or you never know.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially stuff that's not even duck hunting related.
Yeah.
And just the genuine friendship. You're sharing the love of the same thing is just an incredible piece, man. And and every time I talk about it, I think about, here I am at 52, and I'm cussing myself for years, you guys. Here I am living 20 minutes from the Mississippi River. Years. Guys are going, dude, come shoot ducks with me. Come shoot Canada geese with me. Right there along the river in Illinois. And I knew, dude, I was like, if I do, you might
only
not,
going to take
Tristan,
one time.
you might not be here right now. Tristan might not be here right now if I would have chosen to go duck hunting back in the day.
Well, you're the one that said it causes divorces.
Yeah, dude.
You got married before you got addicted.
Oh,
so
dude, I almost got divorced just because of deer hunting. Chasing that dream and everything, and thank God my wife let me do that, but it definitely pushed every last bit of niceness that she had.
Oh yeah, and I want to touch on the talking about the money of the sport and how it'll take someone that's hard on their money and does not spend a dime, but they get into duck hunting and it's just gone, like you said.
Yep, the wife was like, "You've always been so good with your finances."
Yeah. My wife, I love her to death, and her favorite thing to do is to be on the lake during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to go to the lake. We got to spend money. We got to put gas in the boat. We got to get food to go out there. And she's like, you don't have no problem doing this during duck season.
Pulls that card.
Like, that's a different story. But, it's just funny that you say that. And I'm like that every weekend. She would, let's go to the lake. Let's go. I don't want to go to the lake. We're going to have to put gas in the boat. We're going to have to spend all this money just to go to the damn lake.
That's the truth, dude. Like, whenever I got my boat, my first good I got a War Eagle 750 with a 40XD on it right now. And when I got that thing, it was more out of safety. Quite honestly, it wasn't trying to muscle up with a great boat. I picked that boat because it's a tank, and the engine and the hull come with an incredible warranty, and I wanted something that I could take across the country and just beat the shit out of, right? Well, and go in every environment. But, there came a point where some things were, priorities change in life, and I was considering selling the boat. And I said something to my wife about it, and she's like, what are we going to do during the summer? and then Tristan's like, Dad, what are we going to do during the summer? And everybody's like,
I'm going to have to figure out a way to buy the boat from him if he sells.
Well, the first thing out of Tristan's mouth was worried about, what are we going to do about going to Lake Lanier? And I'm like, it wasn't about duck hunting.
No.
It was about what are we going to do during the summer, because we do get a lot of use out of that boat, and it is kind of fun actually to be flying by yuppie boats with when you got a 6-8 foot gator tail shooting off the back, and people going, "What in the hell is that?"
Oh yeah, man! I'll pull up to a sandbar during the summertime, and the whole sandbar. I've got like 4 or 5 buddies that got these boats.
Yeah.
And we'll pull up to a sandbar during summer, and the whole sandbar will just flock to us. They've got all their center consoles and wake boats and content. They're like, what the hell is that thing?
You want to hear a funny story? So every year on the St. Johns River, what's it called, Tristan?
Boater Skip Day.
It's called Boater Skip Day. And so you can look it up on the internet, you guys. I'm talking like it's a big deal, like hundreds of boats, like from your biggest 3-story yachts to you name it. And our first boat was a flat bottom crestliner with a 8-foot long tail off the back with straight pipes. All right. And in order to get to there, you had to go across one of the widest parts of the St. Johns River, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good, and we come pulling up in that thing, and lack of a better term, my yuppie friends were like, Dude, you're just redneck all the way through, aren't you? Yeah, like they know my lifestyle and everything. They just wouldn't expect me pulling up in this camo 8-foot long tail straight pipes, you know?
it's like, hey guys, I'm here, ain't I?
Right.
You know, I showed up. I'm here.
That's right. So there's a place for all of us in those days, you know. And if you're intimidated down at the Lake of the Ozarks, show up in one of them sumbitches, see what people say.
I found people they're so like, you know, intrigued by it. Kind of like what you were saying. Everyone's coming over to look at you and your crew's boats because it's so different. You know, people are like, wow, like what we got going on here? You know?
What is that? You know?
Yeah, what is that thing? Or my favorite thing is like you'll like at the boat ramp during the summer and you'll crank that thing up sitting in line waiting, let it warm up a little bit, and people are just staring at you like you shouldn't do that.
You're like my motor turns over like once every 60 seconds. It's like sounds like a 64 souped up freaking Mustang that's sitting there at the drag line ready to go off. And you're like yeah, no, I really feel like pound for pound we can go up against like those 4 motor giant freaking offshore boats.
At least in your head.
Yeah, in my head. But that guy will look over at my boat and go, maybe I need one of those.
What
He'll look over and say, where did he get that from?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of setup are you running, Luke?
So I've got a Gator Tail Extreme series.
Oh, cool.
I've got an 1860 with a GTR 40.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very cool.
Nice.
So that's the same motor we got it,
Yep.
right? And then just you got the Gator tail boat with it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a pretty solid setup, you know. And you know, I was thinking about this the other day, and people were. It seems like everybody in Arkansas wants to say something about people with mud motors and
yeah, that was a hot topic recently.
Yeah, and surface drives. You know, and they want to outlaw and stuff. But really what it comes down to is just the exhaust, the aftermarket exhaust stuff. You know, I do believe, quote, I mean, if I'm wrong, somebody please say, but I do believe that on all Arkansas WMAs, you're supposed to stick with factory. A stock exhaust. Now, we all know the main reason for that is to protect the environment because all of those gases and bad things are going up and probably creating all these hybrid ducks, you know. But no, what it really comes down to is the sound. It comes down to the sound. But, you know, I just think it's funny that people want to try to outlaw a motor that is probably one of the best inventions in duck hunting ever.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it gets us to where we need to go, and you can take those son of a bitches anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, compared to outboards, I mean, you have a lot more flexibility for sure.
Well, and keep in mind that I think, at least the folks I've met in Arkansas, the majority of those folks are also fishermen, and they fish a lot, you know. And so I don't blame them for getting an outboard, you know.
Yeah.
But guess what? If they didn't fish, they'd be running that surface drive.
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, that's why, I mean, with us hunting in Florida a few times a year, that was kind of, and originally started duck hunting in Florida. That's, you know, kind of the motivation is you kind of have to have a, you know, to duck hunt in the marsh, you kind of have to have a surface drive. I mean, it's just getting back into those grassy pockets and stuff like that. I mean,
well, and I tell you what, this is something that I don't think I've ever even said this before, but really, honestly, this is something that personally I love about my mud motor, and that is I beat a local in his outboard because I was able to take my boat where he couldn't go that day. And I was like, ha ha.
That's funny.
I mean, it really was. And now part of that was the speed and just deciding that I had a tank and I was going to jump over this, like, I don't know, 4-foot diameter log that was floating on top of the water. And we did that easily. But to hear them say the F word by not being able to come with me, I thought it was a pretty good thing.
Yeah, it makes you pat yourself on the back for sure.
Right. I was like, did I put my Arkansas plate on before I left the boat ramp?
Right.
I don't know why we don't have a spare one from Kade.
I know, we need to.
If we told him we was using the public land, he'd probably smash it.
Yeah, he always, our buddy out there, he always gives us a hard time when we want to go hunt public. He's like, why would you do that stupid shit? You can stay in here and I'll ride you out to the pit blind and all this other stuff. And it's like, man, you can't. Yeah,
it's
but
the game.
It's the game. It's a rice field versus being able the opportunity to shoot them in the timber, you know?
Yeah, and there's something exciting about beating somebody.
Fields and stuff, and there's no comparison to the woods there.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't think there's any comparison even. I mean, one of our prime days ever in the timber was the best wood duck hunt. I don't know if we'll ever match it. Honestly, I mean, we might not hit everything that we were aiming at, but as far as the amount of ducks that were like a plague, it was like a plague. It was like a plague of wood ducks that I don't think I'll ever see again, at least in my life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Tristan almost got hit in the head. It was insane. And I'll take that every day.
Well, that was during that trip I was just talking about earlier where it was like a 7-day trip. And, man, we scouted for the first 3 days. And all we could find is we found this group of wood ducks that had to be like, I don't even know, a couple hundred sitting in this, spot. And we're like, well, looks good enough to me. I guess we're hunting that in the morning. No mallards in there. But and it ended up being a crazy wood duck hunt. It was really cool. But yeah, we haven't had that magical mallard hunt in the Arkansas timber yet. Have you had something like that, Luke?
I haven't. I haven't had the magical. I wouldn't say that. I haven't had that yet. But I've had some fun. We've had some fun ones that I'll remember. But I haven't had those magical ones where you just go in there and just everything's lined up and you just smash them the whole time you're there.
Yeah. No, we're still kind of chasing that too. It's just that magical day. I feel like that's a good point. One of the new segments we're doing on the podcast is called, what's your favorite hunting story? And it's presented by Venku Outdoors, which is a new sponsor of the podcast. And what Venku does is it's kind of like the Airbnb of hunting, if you will. They connect hunters to outfitters all across the United States, everything from elk to bear to ducks, you name it. But they also provide on the back end for outfitters. They'll, they handle all the payment processing. They handle, I think, invoicing, like calendars, all this stuff for outfitters. So if you're an outfitter listening to this and, you just want a duck hunt and you want on the back end all of that to be handled for you, reach out to Venku. But the whole point of this is Venku connects people with, maybe their dream hunt opportunity. So that's why we wanted to call it,
it's how we got. I mean, yeah. Venku was the basis of how we created a lifetime relationship with Delta Thunder Outfitters. So
right. So that's why we wanted to call the, what's your favorite hunting story presented by Venku just kind of made sense. So Luke, man, hit us with your favorite hunting story.
Man, that's gonna be hard. I've had some good ones, but one that sticks out to mind. Let's see. Yeah, let's go with this one, man. There was one morning, it was 1 year here, and it had been, we had exceptional duck hunting for the year on the East Coast. It was one of the better ones, if not the best I'd seen. And we had scouted one afternoon and found a few birds, and we were like, we're going to go in the morning. Well, we all got back that night, and I'm looking at my phone and looking at the weather, trying to see what the wind is and all that stuff. Well, I see that we're under warning for these like really bad storms. And I'm like, well, damn, and they're caught like, right at first light, these bad storms coming in. I don't know if we need to get caught in this. So I wake up that morning and the radar's clear. There's nothing. It's not raining at the house. And so I'm like, oh, hell yeah, we're going. So we get there and we get set up. And like I said, it's dark outside. We're getting all set up and just something like you could feel it in the air that storm had popped back up.
The pressure change.
The wind's picking up, and I'm like, man, it's dark out here, but it looks awfully dark. We're coming on shooting light, and it looks awfully dark. And I look at my phone, and there is a little pop-up, storm coming right for us. And the red of this storm is about to sit right on top of us. We couldn't have been any more center in it. And I'd left, when we got there and everything was clear, I left my rain jacket in the boat. I was like, damn, I got to run back and grab that thing because it's about to get bad. So I run back to the boat, grab this jacket. We get back, and soon as I get back and put this jacket on, it starts hailing, thundering, and lightning. I mean, it all hell broke loose. And we're just standing there like, damn, and it clicks shooting light, and you can hear some ducks a little bit, but we're looking around, man, this isn't going to be no good. And next thing you know, I just see this ball of teal, and you could tell they wanted to get down from,
man.
you know, that rain and that hail. And I was actually standing out in the water, we were fixing some decoys, and these teal just lit, I mean, a few feet off of me. And me and my buddy,
now you say blues or greens?
They're green.
All right.
Green wings. And we shot these teal, and we got back, and we were like, and it's still raining, and a couple more groups of teal come in. We shot the teal, and I mean, our shooting was on point. Everything was just like, given the weather, everything else was on point. I mean, we were wearing these teal out. Well, then the rain stops probably 20 minutes or so after shooting light, and the prettiest bluebird sky you had ever seen come, and it was like it never stormed. And then next thing you know, here come the big ducks. And we start shooting these ducks, and the wind was blowing. I mean, it was just, the reason I'm telling this story is because I feel like it was just like one of those picture perfect, like just when you thought that it was about to turn all to shit, that quick it turned around just by staying those few extra minutes, just to wait it out. And it just turned into the most picture perfect day.
Man.
And we just started shooting these mallards. And I remember we had been hunting this area for the past couple of days. And where I'm from, you don't see a lot of pintails. Well, there was this just single pintail drake at we had hunted in that area the past 2 days, and we seen this duck, and he kind of, just like a normal pintail would do, just kind of skirt on the outside of you, and you're kind of like, should we shoot him or should we wait? And we never shot at him, and we just sitting there, and we were sitting there hunting, and like I said, it's getting later in the morning, and we've done killed probably 15, 16 ducks at this point, and we're sitting there, and I remember we're working a pair of mallards, and I'm sitting there, and I'm working these ducks, and they're about to break the trees. They've got their feet out. They're coming in, and I'm telling them, I'm like, wait, like let them get in here. And soon as I'm looking up at these ducks over my right shoulder, and I just hear gunshots start going off. And I turn around, and I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? And my buddy Zach's just hollering, it was that damn pintail. It was that damn pintail. And I look, and that pintail, I mean, he was just over the buck brush, and he was just, after he had been shot, and I caught the glimpse of him going down. And I sent my dog Penny, and she come back, and sure enough, I mean, the most beautiful, just stud bull, fully plumed pintail.
Nice.
And we were all just like, we had seen that duck for 2 days in a row, and he just skirted us there, and we went back and looked at the video, and that duck he come out of nowhere like you don't ever really see a pintail backpedal too much.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They usually do a lot of skirting and hanging, and I mean this pintail was just backpedaling straight down in the hole. And I was like, all right, well, that was fair enough to ruin my pair of mallards. That was about to do it. And we finished that day, I think, with 19 ducks. We were trying to break 20 so hard. We finished that day with 19 ducks.
That's not a bad job for two guys.
And no,
I'm just kidding.
It was a few more than two.
I know.
I'm
just kidding.
But yeah, man, and that just I'll never forget it. I'm looking at this pair of mallards. They're just, I mean, right in the sunlight. They're just doing it perfect, and I just hear gunshots go off, and I'm like, what in the hell are y'all doing? And my buddy Zach just has this look on his face. It was that damn pintail, and you want to talk about a guy that loves a mallard duck? That is Zach. So for him to shoot that pintail, like, I knew it had to be something special. And like I said, my dog come back with that duck, and I was just like, holy shit, because you don't see them a lot around our way. Wow. I think like over the years we've shot maybe like 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't see them like that, and especially one like this. I mean, he got it mounted, just bull sprig, fully plumed. It couldn't get no better. But yeah, that day was one of the days that I'll remember forever. One of the better days that we've had, like, around home. That was good.
That's awesome, dude.
That is
what
awesome.
A great story.
And even more awesome is, at least our experience, we haven't had directly any what I would call like enough pintail hunts on the east or the Atlantic coast to like say that we really have hunted pintails hard or anything like that. But, for you to have something on the East Coast with a great sprig, to me is more of a rarity, because most of the folks that we see that are shooting pintails, especially down in Florida, November, December, that kind of thing, you really don't get that big sprig like that. And so that's killer.
Tristan, when this podcast finishes up, I'll text you a picture of that duck, and y'all can look at it and tell that thing. I mean, it was amazing.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Well, Luke, man, we appreciate your time, dude. This has been a great podcast, and we love just connecting with new people, man. It's one of the cool things about doing a podcast is just getting to talk with new duck hunters or, people we've never met before. And, tell people that, if somebody's listening to this and they haven't heard of Shallo Water Co., where can they get in touch with you guys at?
Y'all can check us out on Instagram. Our Instagram is Shallo Water Co _, and then TikTok is Shallo Water Co. And then our website is shallowater.com. We sell on the website, and then we sell a few things on TikTok Shop as well.
Perfect, man.
Awesome
yeah, and
stuff.
I saw your video. I don't know if you're still dealing with the scam. Are you still dealing with the scammers on the TikTok Shop or whatever?
Yeah, so they're so far there's been nothing I've been able to do about it. I've reported the page, and it kills me because, we post one little thing with too much of a gun or
right.
a dead duck or something like that. Immediately these people are reporting it and getting it taken down, and it's like these people are scamming someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that I have so many people because of my close friends going and reporting this page, and I've been dealing with it for 2 months now, and not a single one of them has been taken down. It's just like I don't understand how that's. But what I have noticed is they're starting to do more like bigger brands. Like I've seen like Old Row on there, and a bunch of like Old Row's a pretty big company, like Barstool Sports, like all that stuff. Starting to see them doing these brands, so I can only imagine that at some point something's gonna have to change. But that's part of the reason I didn't put this new shirt on the TikTok Shop, because I don't want them to steal it.
Right.
I don't want them to be able to steal the design. So it's just like it's a pain in the ass. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, I've reached out to TikTok. I've asked people like, what can I do about this? And really everything I've been told is like, if you don't copyright every single design. So I don't know.
Man.
So I'm trying to venture away, like kind of ease. I do well on TikTok, so I'm trying to, on certain items, I do well on TikTok. So I'm trying to just kind of wean myself off the TikTok Shop, I reckon, and then just sell off the website and then at these trade shows.
Sure. Yeah.
Right on. Before we get out of here, I just had one thing to talk about, and that is, the reality of what we've just went through, and Hurricane Debbie just came through, and I know climbed up the coast. Do you guys, because I really haven't researched North Carolina, has there been enough impact that it's messing with any of the coastal impoundments or anything like that you guys are seeing? And I hope everybody's safe. That's first and foremost, is that nobody had any flooding and problems like that. But have you guys been impacted at all by that to where you're concerned about it?
As far as the coast, I know the coast, like looking at the radar, I seen, and a buddy of mine that lives at the coast posted some flooding earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the impoundments, I haven't heard, like from any of my buddies that work in them impoundments down there, heard too much from it yet. So hopefully, everyone's safe and everybody's stuff is safe and nothing's happened. But yeah, I haven't heard anything directly. Right on.
I was just curious, just because I haven't really been that well tuned in with what's been going on, like really north of Georgia. So
I said I've got a buddy that has some impoundments, and he was worried because they just put in a few new levees and stuff, and a few new boxes like very recently, and he was worried about them with the creeks and stuff and the rivers coming out. He was worried if his stuff what was gonna happen to his stuff. But I talked to him earlier in the day, and he said it wasn't raining as bad up there as he had expected. So hopefully everything with him as well is good as well. So
good stuff.
Well, good deal, man. Well, Luke, we appreciate your time, brother, and yeah, hopefully we'll do it again at some point in the future. And wish you guys the best this season. And looking forward to seeing the content and the designs and all that good stuff, man.
And let me know when you want to go chase some whistlers, because I'm going to piggyback on that and come up there and shoot a black duck.
That sounds good. Like I said, thank you guys for having me. Like I said, this is the first podcast I've ever done, so I was excited about it. Kind of get me out of my comfort zone a little bit. So,
well, you seem like a natural, honestly.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I've never been the big talker, but I did enjoy this, and I appreciate y'all having me on here.
Yeah, thank you, Luke.
Absolutely, man. Have a good night.
All righty, you as well.
All right,
bye-bye.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on a midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.